Have you ever wondered if there are moments where science just has to throw up its hands and say, "We don't know"? What if I told you that in a small town in Poland, something happened that still has people scratching their heads? A moment where the lines between the sacred and the scientific became incredibly blurred? Imagine this. It's 2008, in the quiet town of Sokółka. During a Catholic Mass, a consecrated host, the small wafer that believers hold to be the body of Christ, is accidentally dropped. Following church protocol, the priest places it in water to dissolve. But it doesn't dissolve. Instead, a mysterious red substance appears on it. What could it be? Just some mold? A simple chemical reaction? The local church leaders were skeptical too, so they decided to do something radical. They sent a tiny piece of it, not to a religious scholar, but to two separate independent medical universities for forensic analysis. They told the scientists nothing about its origin, only that it was a sample needing examination. The results that came back were stunning. The scientists, with no knowledge of the object's holy significance, reported that the sample wasn't mold or some foreign contaminant. It was, they concluded, human heart muscle tissue. But not just any heart tissue. It was described as myocardium, heart muscle, from a person in a state of extreme stress, as if they were in the final moments of life. Furthermore, the tissue was interwoven with the bread wafer in a way that scientists said was impossible to replicate. One of the lead professors, Dr. Maria Sobaniec-Łotowska, a specialist in pathological anatomy, stated that the two substances, the bread and the heart tissue, were interconnected in an inseparable manner. One of the lead professors, Dr. Maria Sobaniec-Łotowska, a specialist in pathological anatomy, stated that the two substances, the bread and the heart tissue, were interconnected in an inseparable manner. This wasn't some ancient story passed down through generations. This was a modern event, scrutinized under powerful microscopes by experts in their fields. The news sent shockwaves through the community and beyond. For believers, this was a Eucharistic miracle, a tangible sign of their faith made real. It was proof of a central belief, that the bread and wine truly become the body and blood of Christ. Thousands of pilgrims began flocking to Sokółka to see this relic, which is now displayed in the Church of St. Anthony. They kneel before it, praying, many of them moved to tears. For them, it's not just a scientific curiosity, it's a direct connection to the divine, a confirmation that miracles still happen in our modern world. But what about the skeptics? As you can imagine, the scientific community didn't just accept this at face value. The immediate counter-argument was contamination. Could someone have tampered with the host? Could human DNA have somehow gotten onto it during handling? The church officials maintained that strict protocols were followed. The host was locked away in a tabernacle, making outside interference highly unlikely. Another theory proposed was a type of bacteria, specifically Serratia marcescens, which is known to produce a red pigment, and can sometimes grow on bread, creating an appearance similar to blood. This phenomenon has been historically cited to explain so-called bleeding hosts. However, the medical experts who examined the Sokółka sample ruled this out. They were not looking at bacteria, they were looking at clearly identifiable structured human cells, the kind that make up a living, beating heart. They even identified the A bands and Z lines characteristic of heart muscle fibers. The fact that the tissue was described as being in agony adds another layer of profound mystery. How could a scientific analysis determine the emotional or physical state of tissue that shouldn't even exist? It's a detail that resonates deeply with the Christian narrative of Christ's suffering. This creates a fascinating crossroads between faith and reason. Science demands repeatable experiments and verifiable data. A miracle, by its very definition, is a one-time event that defies the known laws of nature. So how can one prove the other? For those who demand purely scientific proof, the Sokółka event will likely always have a question mark next to it. They argue that without full access to all the data and the ability to retest the sample under different conditions, we can't rule out a highly unusual but natural explanation. Perhaps there was a flaw in the initial analysis, or a form of contamination so bizarre it mimics heart tissue. On the other hand, for those of faith, the scientific analysis isn't the source of their belief, but a confirmation of it. They see the pathologist's reports not as the final word, but as a testament to a truth they already held. The story isn't about convincing a skeptic, it's about deepening the faith of a believer. It challenges us to consider whether our understanding of reality is complete. Are there dimensions to our existence that simply can't be measured in a laboratory? This isn't the only event of its kind. A similar incident was reported in Legnica, Poland in 2013, where another consecrated host showed similar characteristics and was also identified as human heart muscle tissue under stress. These modern events force us to confront uncomfortable questions. When faced with something that seems to defy all logical explanation, how do we react? Do we dismiss it as a hoax or an anomaly? Or do we allow ourselves to wonder if there's more to the world than what we can see and measure? The story of the host of Sokółka isn't just about a religious artifact. It's about the very limits of human knowledge. It pushes us to ask, what is the nature of proof? Is seeing believing, or is believing a different way of seeing altogether? If even a single instance like this is genuine, it suggests that the fabric of reality might be more mysterious and wondrous than we can possibly imagine. It implies that moments of transcendence aren't just confined to ancient texts, but can break through into our hyper-scientific modern world, leaving us with a profound sense of awe and a whole lot of questions. What do you think? Is this a case of a profound miracle, an unexplained scientific anomaly, or a clever deception? The debate continues, and the host of Sokółka remains, inviting us all to look closer and question the boundaries of our own beliefs. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey today. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more explorations into the mysteries that surround us. I'd love to read your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious.